Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
The Toronto Blue Jays haven't finished their offseason, and the most important move might be hiding in plain sight. While fans watched Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, and Cody Bellinger disappear off the board, contracts signed elsewhere, and doors quietly closing, a strange calm settled over Toronto. It felt like the music had stopped. But what if the answer was never in free agency at all? What if the final piece was already familiar, already proven, already waiting in Cleveland? Because sometimes baseball doesn't reward the loudest move. Sometimes it rewards the smartest one. And that's where Steven Kwan enters the conversation, almost politely, almost unnoticed, like a chess piece sliding forward while everyone else is watching the clock. If last offseason taught us anything, it's that Toronto and Cleveland share a phone line that actually works. Andrés Giménez arrived quietly and ended up rewriting the Blue Jays' October story. When Bo Bichette went down in the playoffs, Giménez didn't panic. He didn't blink. He simply stepped into shortstop and played elite defense while delivering timely hits that carried Toronto all the way to the World Series. That wasn't luck. That was design. And now the question whispers again. Can lightning strike twice? Steven Kwan makes sense in ways that don't scream for attention but demand respect. George Springer's nearing the end of his contract, and the leadoff spot is about to become an unsolved equation. Kwan is 28, left-handed, disciplined, and exactly the type of hitter Ross Atkins has always trusted. In a lineup that still leans too heavily to the right, Kwan brings balance, not just in handedness, but in temperament. This isn't about flashy power. This is about control. Kwan's bat doesn't chase chaos, it invites order. He sees pitches, he gets on base, he frustrates pitchers into mistakes. And over the course of a long season, that kind of consistency becomes exhausting for opponents and priceless for contenders. Now, let's slow this down, because Cleveland isn't desperate. Kwan still has 2 years before free agency, and that means Toronto would need patience, precision, and the right offer. But history tells us something important here. When Atkins targets Cleveland, he doesn't do it recklessly, he does it with intent. Giménez proved that a well-timed deal can redefine an entire season. Sandlin, injuries aside, was another calculated swing. Kwan fits that same philosophy perfectly. If Kwan arrives, the ripple effect across the roster is immediate. Giménez's flexibility becomes even more valuable, the lineup gains balance, the leadoff spot stabilizes. Suddenly, Toronto isn't scrambling to replace Bo Bichette's presence, it's redistributing it. Depth becomes protection, options become strategy, and October becomes less about survival and more about execution. Tactically, Kwan offers something that rarely shows up cleanly in box scores: pressure. Constant, suffocating pressure. A leadoff hitter who turns every at-bat into work for the pitcher changes the entire rhythm of a game. Pitch counts climb, bullpens stir earlier, defensive positioning tightens. These are small advantages, but in playoff baseball, small advantages decide everything. But here's the uncomfortable truth no one likes to admit. This isn't just about stats, age, or contracts. It's about chemistry. It's about whether a player fits into a room already carrying scars, expectations, and unfinished business. Kwan isn't loud, he isn't dramatic, he's composed, professional, and unshakable. And in October, that calm can be contagious. If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report, because this is where the real off-season conversations live, long after the headlines fade. The human factor matters here. Kwan's reputation as a disciplined, steady presence could quietly elevate everyone around him. In a playoff environment where pressure bends even the strongest players, having someone who doesn't flinch can shift the entire emotional balance of a clubhouse. That's not measurable, but it's real. So how does Toronto make it happen? That's the mystery. We don't know the exact pieces, but we do know Adkins' track record. He doesn't overpay recklessly. He waits, he times the market, and when the moment arrives, he moves with confidence. Get the price right, get the timing right, and Kwan could become the final piece that completes the offseason puzzle. Looking ahead to 2026, imagine a lineup built on flexibility rather than desperation. Springer's role evolving, Kwan anchoring the top, Jimenez moving seamlessly where needed. A roster designed not just to survive a season, but to adapt within it. That's how championship teams are built. The psychological impact might be the most underrated part of all this. Adding Kwan signals intention. It tells the clubhouse the window is still open. It tells the fans the plan is real. It tells the league Toronto isn't done. So here's the final question. Will Toronto repeat the Jimenez magic, or will Kwan remain the move that almost happened? The answer isn't written yet, but one thing is certain. The offseason isn't over, and the final move could define everything that comes next. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Stay locked in with the Blue Jays Report, because this is where the real offseason conversations live, long after the headlines fade.